Are you ready to dive deep into the abyss of Oak Island's most cryptic legends? Because today we have an absolutely horrifying discovery that will shake your very understanding of this mysterious location. What lies within the famed Oak Island's treasure chest is something that will make your blood run cold and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. The suspense is unbearable, the findings are downright terrifying, and the truth, well, you'll have to see it for yourself. Buckle up and brace yourself, because this discovery will make your heart pound like a drum. On the Hit History Channel show, The Curse of Oak Island, brothers Marty and Rick Lagina and their team of treasure hunters have been digging around an island in Nova Scotia for more than 8 years. The Lagina Brothers have been looking for buried wealth on the island for all 9 seasons. Even though the brothers and metal detector expert Gary Drayton have mostly found mud, wood, and different metal tools, they and several science and archaeology experts have found a surprising number of valuable things hidden on Oak Island's 140 acres. But what are these interesting finds, and what secrets might they tell about the past? Maybe we'll find the truth when we find all the treasures that have ever been found on the Curse of Oak Island. In Season 4, Episode 8, metal detector expert Gary Drayton and Oak Island historian Charles Barkhouse continue to dig around on Samuel Ball's property and find a lot of interesting things. Drayton and Barkhouse first find a dandy button, which is a type of button that was often used on clothes in the 1700s. Soon, they find a lead ingo that was used to make gun balls and a few 1700s King George II coins. After finding what might be a metal tag from the bottom of a pistol with a name on it that some online researchers think might be Samuel Ball's, Drayton thinks that all these items could be the remains of a military camp. Were these campers from the 18th century looking for hidden treasure or leaving their own? The only thing that is known for sure about Oak Island in the 1700s is that a lot was going on there. Gary Drayton and his metal detector team once more find hints of 17th century participation on the island in Dead Man's Chest, the second episode of the 5th season of The Curse of Oak Island. These indications could have come from the military, pirates, or both. Soon after unearthing a musket ball from the 17th century, which was used in cannons, they discover what looks to be a Maravetti, which is identical to what was discovered in the Season 1 finale, The Find. This coin is different because it has been divided into smaller portions. The term Pieces of 8 was made popular by the Robert Louis Stevenson classic pirate book, Treasure Island. It originated in the 17th century when coins like the Maravetti were chopped to provide change. Another component of the pirates' frequenting is the Oak Island coastline puzzle. In the last episode of Season 1 of The Curse of Oak Island, The Find, metal detector expert Steve Zizulik found a coin with the number 8 on it while looking through a swamp. It was later found to be a copper Spanish 8 Maravetti's coin from the 17th century. In the first episode of Season 2, Once In, Forever In, the coin was cleaned and looked at. The back of the coin had the year 1652 written on it. More research on the coin showed that it had been lost in the swamp for hundreds of years and wasn't something that had just been placed. All the clues led to this being a real historical find, the first of many in the show. Could the simple copper coin be proof that pirates have hidden money? It looked like the Lagina Brothers were on the right track to finding Oak Island's rumored lost wealth. In the third episode of the second season of The Curse of Oak Island, The Eight-Pointed Star, treasure hunter Gary Drayton found another double find while metal detecting along Oak Island's coast. This time, Drayton, his team, and the leader of the Oak Island team, Rick Lagina, found 2 coins from the 17th century that were hidden under rocks and pyrite on the beach. One of the coins found had the year 1771 printed on it, which seemed to prove that the money was from hundreds of years ago. From where did these coins from the 1600s come? Could people who were in a hurry to find buried wealth have dropped them? Or, more optimistically, could they have been left on Oak Island by a rich group looking to bury their treasure? Surely the Oak Island team would need to look into things more. In the 5th episode of the second season of The Curse of Oak Island, the 90-foot stone, the small coin that Gary Drayton and his team found in Return to the Money Pit 3 episodes earlier was looked at. It turned out to be something much more interesting than a Maravetti coin. Treasure hunter and expert diver Tony Sampson cleaned the coin and saw what looked like a cross on one side. This unique cross might be the sign of the Knights Templar, who set up one of the first foreign banking systems in the 1300s. Could this be a piece of money that the Knights Templar used to do business? What at first looked like the finding of a small Spanish Maravetti coin could be a big clue to a huge fortune buried by the Knights Templar somewhere on Oak Island. In the second episode of the second season of The Curse of Oak Island, Return to the Money Pit, treasure hunter Gary Drayton used a metal detector to find not one, but two jewels. His first find was close to the shore of Oak Island. Drayton and his team found a button from a military officer's uniform from the 17th century, but they don't know which military it might be from. But it could be proof that this military group was behind some of the secrets buried on the island. The second thing that Drayton and his team found that day was in a nearby wooded area. They found a small coin buried in the ground. They thought it was another Maravetti from the 17th century, like the one they found in the last episode of the last season. But this coin seemed to be much smaller, maybe only 2 Maravettis instead of 8. Even though these amazing finds are smaller, they could still lead to a much bigger prize on Oak Island. In Blood is Thicker, episode 15 of season 4 of The Curse of Oak Island, Gary Drayton uses a metal detector to scan the items that Rick and Marty Lagina had uncovered at their GAL-1 dig site. He's thrilled to find the first buried gold in the show. They first believed it to be a coin, but soon discover it has the word plated etched on it. This circular object was studied by Dr. Laurie Vanderheim, an expert in antique appraisal, and it is most likely that it was a gold-plated button from a 17th or 18th century British military uniform. When the Lagina Brothers find a sizable metal hinge with drill holes in it at the same position, this appears even more feasible. Dr. Vanderheim examined it and determined that it belonged to the same era. Even more intriguing is the fact that it was commonly employed as a hinge for treasure chest, even though it might have originated from a ship using the hinge for a different purpose. It is still a very intriguing discovery because it begs the question of what is beneath Oak Island. In the 6th episode of the 4th season of The Curse of Oak Island, Circles in Wood, Gary Drayton, associate producers Jack Begley and Alex Lagina, and other treasure hunters do some metal detecting on land that used to belong to former slave and cabbage farmer Samuel Ball. After Drayton and his group found a piece of chain hidden in the ground, they looked in more places and found a small copper and bronze ring. They kept digging because they were sure they were on the right track, and they found a coin that could be hundreds of years old. Samuel Ball owned 36 acres of Oak Island and was thought to be one of the richest people who lived there. Did they get this money from growing cabbage? Or had Ball found something valuable? Maybe these things are just a small part of the treasure that Ball found on Oak Island. That's all for the video. We'll be right back with more such videos, so don't forget to give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.